Daniel Zellhuber, Mexico City's golden boy, bringing with him a perfect 11-0 record into the octagon since turning pro 5 years ago at 17. Here's Sean Shelby on Zellhuber.
Zellhuber is a really big lightweight, and he uses that to his advantage. He's really good, he's rangy, he uses his kicks very well, and when guys do get a hold of him, he can use the clinch well. He's good with knees and elbows.
Yeah, anytime you're as tall and as rangy as Zellhuber, you're going to have good knees and good kicks. He keeps it at his range. He fights his way. He's got sneaky submissions if it does hit the mat. He's pretty well-rounded, but I'm expecting him to want to do something fantastic tonight. The guy's got an incredible finishing rate. He's going to go out there. Both these guys undefeated. This one really stands out for me tonight.
This one's going to be a banger. I actually talked to Yair Rodriguez and say, hey, give me the 4-1-1 on this kid. What do you really think? And he said he's got a fantastic fight IQ. That's what he talked about. He said, of course, he's a very long, dynamic striker. He's difficult for really about anybody to get a read on. And Yair said this kid has what it takes to be a superstar if he can rise to the occasion. So high praise from Yair Rodriguez.
He's long, he's athletic, and to your point, Paul, he's finished 9 of 11 wins. That is an 82% finish rate for the kid they call the Golden Boy out of Mexico City. Man.
Dynamic combinations.
Taking a look now at the tail of the tape. 22 years young, Daniel Zellhuber, the youngest fighter on the card tonight. He has the 2-inch height advantage and a massive 6-inch reach advantage for the Golden Boy. Jason Herzog, our referee for the second fight of the night.
Ready? Pronto.
Fight! Fight number 2 is underway. Lucas Almeida in the red trunks and Zellhuber in the blue.
And you see immediately that it's not that big of a difference when you actually see Almeida in there with Zellhuber. That 5'11", I mean, he's a pretty big guy himself for this weight class. And he thinks the difference is going to be in his punching power. Ooh, and he stuck with that left hand.
And he's doing such a good job. The one, oh man.
He's moving his head to get out of these long, rangy strikes of Zellhuber and countering back beautifully.
And he's crowding the kicker. When you're facing a guy whose main weapon is kicks, you got to get close to him, smother those kicks, and not allow him to get the kicks off first. Oh my goodness!
Man,
he's not just touching him. I mean, he's landing with power.
Oh, that hurt. Man, nice hands here from Almeida.
This is why he's got that 100% finish rate, you guys.
And he can do this. He can do this into the later rounds if he has to. Nice, smart move here from Zellhuber to close this distance. And as we saw in the first bout with the heavyweights, slow it down a little bit. If you're not finding your range, you're not getting into your rhythm, you've got to do something to change the momentum of the fight so far.
This will give Zellhuber an opportunity to reset the pace of the fight, right? I mean, when you're drowning in strikes coming at you, the best thing you can do is exactly what he's doing, put it up against the cage, or just completely disengage and just find a moment to reset yourself and get your combinations going again. Oh my goodness.
Lands a couple on the break. Zellhuber, another good one, too.
Man. He's coming right back, though. I mean, we're seeing that Mexican toughness out of Zellhuber. He's not going to back down from a fight.
And one thing I'll say is Almeida, I mean, he is throwing very heavy, very often, very early. And Zellhuber, living in Mexico City, he lives and trains at a nasty elevation, so you got to imagine.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, his gas is going to be there, but
he's getting crushed with right hands.
Wow.
Another one.
Crushed with these right hands of Almeida. His hands are a little low, and when he throws, they're not coming back to a good defensive position, and Almeida is following him back after his punches and landing 2 or 3 of his own.
Zellhuber's used to being able to float on the outside and keep his hands low, like you said, Paul, and here he is in the pocket.
Cage.
You got to get your guard up.
Yeah, this is when Zellhuber's got to start thinking, okay, I've got to switch something up here. I've got to get some respect because Almeida's, there's a right hand, but he walks right through it.
These guys are both throwing. Just over 2 minutes to go here in the first round. Lands a kick to the midsection, does Zellhuber.
Yeah, caught quite a bit of an elbow there as well. Not going to feel nice tomorrow. That was a better kick. That was more shin. Good counter, and then he circles off. He's got to circle off with those hands in a better position, though.
And start getting that jab out there. He has a very long, good, crisp jab. There he goes with it. More of that. I mean, you've just got to fight behind that the entire time when you have someone who's trying to get right in your face with 5- and 6-punch long combinations.
And one of the things I worry me for Zellhuber, he's got really good kicks and good leg kicks, but he's throwing that right leg kick without setting it up at all.
Yes.
And you see Almeida countering him very nicely.
Lucas Almeida has landed 34 significant strikes, make that 35 to 21 for Zellhuber so far with just over a minute to go in the first round.
Almeida looking good. Sorry, Laura.
No, I was going to say, Almeida's so good here to do what he's doing right now. He frames. He's got that Muay Thai background, so when you clinch up with him, he's immediately going to start framing, breaking off, and landing elbows and strikes in the clinch. But Zellhuber lands a nice knee there.
Yeah, that was a dangerous. He kind of took that around from the side, right in on that liver. But Almeida, nice slip. See, that's where he's doing so well. And I got to say, Almeida's one of those guys, if you just watched him hit pads, you'd be like, I don't know him, he's okay. Then you see him cracking in person. That's why you can't, power doesn't always translate when you watch somebody just training. That was a nice body kick there. There you go. Zellhuber's got to get that jab going if he wants to keep this fight at the range that he fights best at.
The jab and front kicks, get that teep kick going. Anything you can do to discourage him entering the pocket, make him pay for it.
Oh.
Almeida lands a couple
Nice
of
right hand.
coming from Zellhuber.
Man.
What a round. What a round that
It's
was.
one more as the first round comes to a close. That was action-packed, to say the least.
It was action-packed, and I'll be honest with you guys, Lucas Almeida has improved from the last few fights I watched. This round was just an excellent demonstration of calculated aggression. Exactly right, Paul. He checked that kick, landed strikes of his own, and he's not allowing Zellhuber to use his biggest weapon, which is his kicks. He's staying right on him, landing those right hands. Every time Zellhuber looks to kick, he's got a punch coming right in his face. 2 or 3 usually.
Yeah, he's looking nasty in this fight so far, and everything that Zellhuber is coming back at him with, he's eating it and finding a way to land more. Yeah, there you go.
Clapping. I knew he'd like that one for sure.
I mean, when they made this matchup, they had to anticipate that this was going to be a good one.
Every time you hit him, he felt you hurt him. He doesn't want to be here anymore. Let's go.
Lucas Almeida.
Get the time from the beginning of the first round.
Hope for a UFC contract after his last fight, a jungle fight win back in 2019. Then the pandemic hit, and now he has his shot. Certainly came out like he was fighting for that UFC contract in the first round.
Zellhuber's putting his hands together. He's saying, no, not today. Oh, these guys are trading.
Good body work from Almeida. Nice knee to the body as well from Zellhuber. So.
Oh, I think that sounded low. Maybe not.
I agree. I thought it did too.
Maybe
but
he's just toughing it out. It sounded like it, but who am I to say? Whoa, nice hip toss.
Now, this is a huge opportunity for Zellhuber to slow this pace down, maybe look for some of the submissions that he has in his back pocket, and just ground and pound. He's tall, he's rangy, use some elbows, hurt your opponent. He's in half guard here, but got that wrist control. That's really good there for Zellhuber.
Oh, good ground and pound here.
This is good ground and pound.
The Golden Boy.
And this is such a great position for Zellhuber to be in, because to get up from bottom half, you have to be very technical. This is not a place where you can just explode and immediately get back to your feet like you sometimes can from side control.
That was a mistake there. He just wrapped up full guard. That's not what you want right now. Now you've got Zellhuber over top of you like that. Nice move, though.
We'll see if Zellhuber can connect his hands and get this double leg.
Gonna switch to a single. And again, we saw it in the heavyweight fight. This is where it's really important to not just attempt one thing and hope that you can get it and work and work and work. You're just going to gas yourself out. You've got to be on multiple things. Switch to a double, switch back to a single, come back up to a body lock. Do as I say, not as I do.
Same.
Because I'd just
Paul.
be elbowing fools in there.
At the 3-minute mark here in the second round.
And finally, the pace has slowed just a little bit.
Zellhuber is banking on more aggression from Almeida. He's looking to counter him. He's looking to wait for him to put together another flurry and land that check hook he keeps throwing out there.
And you're right, Paul has slowed down just a little bit. Then a big right landed by Almeida. Let's bring in Yanni, the Greek Corrales, right at the halfway point here, Yanni.
Yeah, and we've gone over the 1.5 at -150. The under plus money did not come through for those bettors. And 3 of the last 4 have gone to a decision at lightweight. Let's see how the next 7.5 minutes play out.
Yanni, the Greek Corrales, bringing us the gambler's perspective all night long. Thanks, Yanni.
Zellhuber having a much better round so far. He's doing a great job of keeping Almeida's back against the cage and making this a technical boxing match right now. He's not using his kicks as much before, really relying on his hands and putting together some nice combinations.
Landed a couple kicks to the body in this round, has Zellhuber.
Yeah, this is the range, and this is where he wants to be. And now that the pace has slowed, he can skirt around the outside, move, use that head movement, taunt him on, try to look for counters, use his jab. Ooh. See, good job slipping out off to the left, and then lateral movement that way.
And this is where that gas starts to come into play. I'm not saying Almeida is gassed yet. He looks plenty fresh. But as this fight continues to move on, Zellhuber, I mean, when you live at Mexico City, my goodness, you have a major advantage coming down to the elevation of Las Vegas. Oh.
Yeah, it's like well over 7,000 feet or something like that.
7,300. I looked it up.
Yeah, it makes Denver look like nothing.
It does.
Yeah, anything over 5, and then you get 7-3. That's like
massive head kick
you
landed
wake
by
up feeling
Zellhuber.
sick.
That was a gorgeous question mark kick. He threw it up like a knee and turned it over.
Nice leg kick there from Zellhuber.
And for Almeida, he's got to do exactly what he's doing now. Follow those kicks back in, but a little bit more aggressively than he did there. He didn't really put any hands behind it, but let the kick come, follow it right back into the pocket.
Yeah, and he was doing that really well in the first when he had a little more energy. See, now that's where cardio, you've got to be on that. If you're going to set a pace in the first, you better be able to follow it up in the second and the third.
That's something that a two-year layoff can certainly impact, right? The cardio. And
yeah, because we see the skills have improved, but the cage time isn't there. That nervous energy's not there.
Almeida's starting to look a little bit gassed now, just a bit.
Hands down from Zellhuber, starting to find his swag.
All right, let's take a look at some of the work here from Almeida. Big right, left hand there. And here's that big takedown, almost like a judo throw there from Zellhuber. Landed some good ground and pound. Got that Khabib-style wrist grab there around the back. Started pounding away, but credit to Almeida. Look at that question mark kick beautifully. Just places it on the neck, right up by the ear. Could have been a whole lot worse for Almeida if that had landed a little heavier.
It's the round of your life. You have to leave your soul and your heart in this. You have the distance, you hit hard, take your head out of the way and come back hit hard. It's the round of your life. Okay, it's your
Cage Warriors, a trilogy, returns to Fight Pass with 3 straight days of fights starting Thursday. Watch Cage Warriors and more live combat sports from around the globe exclusively on UFC Fight Pass.
Final round. Are you ready?
So first round to Almeida, second round to Zellhuber. I think that's fair, correct?
I would agree with that, yeah.
I think, yeah, we've got one hell of a fight on our hand, first of all, and even more importantly now, it's definitely up for grabs. Both guys want this. Both guys come out swinging early. Almeida missing a whole lot more in this third round, though.
And missing is exhausting.
Yep.
It is absolutely exhausting. Zellhuber doing a nice job with his jab earlier as well. He's starting to use those lead weapons.
Another kick to the body, and Zellhuber.
Yeah, and Almeida's got to stop head hunting a little bit. Maybe start trying to find the body so he can just at least connect with something.
He does well to the body, too. He won a fight like that against Miranda. Was in the clinch, landed a beautiful liver shot, and just folded the guy. So he's got it in him for sure. It's just a matter of getting close enough to land those body shots.
Man, nice combo. Right hand followed by inside leg kick. We saw a lot of that from Valentina, where she just followed beautifully with her punches to her leg kicks.
She is so fun to watch. Catches that kick and then lands an elbow.
Zellhuber's cracking.
Yeah, he's looking great here in this third round because he's landing those big shots and he's moving his head completely out of the way of any of these return shots from Almeida. Oh, I love that little scooping in left hook.
Well, this is where you can really see that range coming into play. He uses it so well.
See how he does a really good job now. He didn't so much in the first, but now he's rolling beautifully with that right hand. Even when it connects a little bit, he's kind of sliding his chin with it and then coming back.
Yep, you just hide in your trap. I mean, your shoulder can protect the majority of your jaw if you work it that way.
Both fighters coming in undefeated. Almeida 12-0, fighting for the first time in nearly 2 years. Zellhuber 11-0. Again, 22 years old, the youngest fighter on this card.
Yeah, that's what's amazing, too, when you think about how young he is and how composed he is here on the biggest stage of his life. And being a little bit roughed up in the first round and then coming back, winning the second, and being in control of the third when it matters.
Started fighting professionally when he was 17. I mean, honestly, at 17, you don't have a full-grown man's body yet. You know, taking on grown men and to have the record that he does, very impressive. Almeida just doesn't have the volume that he did earlier in the fight. So it's, you know, early in the fight, it was the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth punches that were landing. And now he's down to 2s and 3s, and Zellhuber's able to move out of the way and move his head off center.
Yeah, that movement from Zellhuber, very slick.
Almost a 2-1 significant strike advantage in the first round for Almeida, and it's almost even. Shows how much more active Zellhuber's been in these last 2 rounds.
Right there, that little shoulder roll, get the chin out of the way. Now, if he can come back and counter right after one of those and step into these strikes of Almeida, he could get a knockdown.
He's finding good angles on his way out of the pocket, but you're right, Paul. A crackback.
Got to come right back.
Exactly. We call it a crackback in my gym. As soon as someone throws, you got to counter and then counter the counter.
Almeida trying to press now, perhaps thinking about what his corner said.
Ooh, I like that he's looking for that liver shot. Especially when your opponent's fatigued like that, you start looking for that liver.
Yep.
That's the best time to look for it.
Oh, he found it again with that kick there, that front kick.
Getting a little tired there, buddy. Let me just poke your liver for you a little bit. I'll help you out.
This will feel great.
Just give him a little tickle. Boom. That's all it takes.
Got caught by a good head movement by Zellhuber. He's feeling himself here with under a minute to go.
Ooh, sneaky little back kick there. Keep the distance. Nice little check hook, get out of the way. Oh, look at that, beautiful. Oh, look at that right hand as he's coming in.
Zellhuber's looking fantastic this round. Almeida just has to put together longer combinations. That's easier said than done when you went the way you did the first round, though.
Exactly. If he can secure a takedown here at this point, I mean, I think it's 2-1 Zellhuber at this point. Beautiful first round from Almeida. Showed that he's right there. He's on the level, I think, to have some great fights in the UFC, but I think this one's going to go to Zellhuber.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Great fight. Great fight between these two guys.
Don't forget, we have seen a fight loser get a contract before when Dana has been impressed. That was Candelario, I believe, on episode 1 of this season. So perhaps that could happen here. 2 high-level fighters. Again, both of them coming in undefeated.
I mean, you got 11-0 versus 12-0. Almeida with 100% finishing rate. Let's take a look at some of the highlights here. That one was checked by Almeida, and you see the hands were just looking sharp. landed some big punches. Check that kick again, counters over the top. Both guys landing here. Second round, we see Zellhuber with this big throw. Gets on top, side control, pins the arm behind the back, starts landing some big punches. Here's a nice question mark kick, just grazes the chin and the neck there. Beautiful knee to the body. I mean, this is the fight. This is what we saw for 15 minutes, is both of these guys laying it on the line. It's what we want for this show. It's what the boss man right there and the matchmakers want to see. They did not disappoint.
No, they did not. And when you're in that octagon and you're looking over and you see Dana clapping almost every round, you know something's
You know you're
well.
doing the right thing.
Octagon announcer Justin Bernard with our decision, sponsored by ZipRecruiter.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for decision. All 3 judges score the bout 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision, Daniel Zellhuber.
22 years old from Mexico City, the Golden Boy. Daniel Zellhuber improves to 12-0, and you can see the emotion flowing inside the octagon. By far, the biggest win of his young life.
Biggest win of his life. And you're talking about a kid, I mean, he's a young man coming in here with that record, with that style, and you're from Mexico City.
Sign him up.
Sign him up. He's signed. I'm telling you right now, 100% guaranteed kids in it. Now we talk about, well, what do we do with Almeida, who had a fantastic performance? Had a great first round, and you got beat by another guy who's undefeated. Man, if it's me signing them, I'm not the boss. We know this.
But
fact.
you would. Fair
But
enough.
I would sign both these guys. Why not?
Yanni, quickly, some nice plus money on the props here, huh?
Yeah, and even though Wise Guys cut the Zellhuber by decision odds in half from plus 450 down to plus 250, he still rewarded those backers, giving you back 250 for 100 for a nice favorite to win by decision.